Hello, my name is Miguel Lourenço. I am 53 years old. I'm the creator and founder of the Universe Gong project. I have been playing gongs since 2010, and starting in 2013, I began to promote the use of the gong in Portugal. In 2019, the opportunity arose for me to also start making gongs. The gongs that Universe Gong manufactures are made primarily from nickel alloys. Within our production, we have several ranges, and I feel that the main one is the planetary gongs, which are widely known in the West. Universe Gong started as a solo project, and for 2.5 years, I did all the tasks necessary to make a gong by myself. Currently, Universe Gong is made up of 5 people. We have daily production, and at present, our gongs are in about 43 countries around the world. In the first 2 years, production was based exclusively on gongs made from nickel silver, and I personally felt that we needed to innovate. That's when we started experimenting with new materials and managed to discover this alloy, which is also nickel-based, that allows us to create color. The vibrant color is meticulously created with intense fire. All of our exquisite gongs are entirely handcrafted, with each individual piece being carefully made by skilled hands, and consequently every single piece is truly unique because precisely due to the inherent nature of being handmade, it is absolutely impossible to replicate 2 identical pieces. It was exactly this remarkable innovation and our continuous daily pursuit to make more and even better quality gongs that truly set us apart from others, which is precisely why our exceptional gongs are now widely spread across the many diverse countries I previously mentioned. Making a gong is a creative act, a spiritual act, you could say. The Espantares gongs are tuned to the frequencies of the planets, but besides these gongs, we also produce others that are born from inspiration when it strikes, allowing us to invent and create. One of the characteristics of Universe Gong is that everyone is invited to invent, to create, to experiment. We are not afraid of making mistakes because it is precisely mistakes that help us learn. It is important for us to say that 60% of Universe Gong's workforce are women. We represent 3 nationalities, and among us, we speak 7 languages. It is this diversity and even the different cultural perspectives that each person brings that make Universe Gong such a pleasant place where the whole team comes in with satisfaction. No one comes here thinking they have to work, because the day we stop coming with joy, something will certainly be wrong. Personally, I do everything to have the best team in the world. It is very important that besides being colleagues, we also have a very strong bond among all of us here. It's a way of being, a way of living. We consistently strive to be truly unique and exceptionally creative in every single detail, so that we can genuinely make a significant difference. Making a profound difference is absolutely essential, especially because Universe Gong also possesses a very strong social character and is, in essence, a profoundly humanitarian project. It's not merely about producing and shipping gongs. We also inherently have this other crucial aspect that defines us. We are located in Dela, which is a village that benefits from the Faraguas River in the municipality of Albagaria. When we came to this small village, it was also a very pleasant place where we could work in peace. At the moment, we can even hear the birds singing outside, and we have the Kaima River just down below. We did everything we could to integrate ourselves in the best way into this village. And Universe Gong is the sponsor of the local children's football team, with kids around 7 or 8 years old. Because it's important for us to be part of the community, and it also proves that it's not only in big cities that different things can be done. The village also makes it possible because we don't have to deal with traffic to get to work, which doesn't even feel like work. So we start the day in peace. And if you start your day in peace, then the tendency is for the whole day to go better. Universe Gong is not just a gong manufacturer. We also have a training center where we teach people how to play and use the gong. Now, a big question, what exactly is a gong? Well, a gong can be seen as a musical instrument, as an instrument of proportion, which is true. But on the other hand, it is also a therapeutic tool. And when we say it's a therapeutic tool, what does that actually mean? The sound and vibration that come from the gong touch the human being on three levels. The vibration, on one hand, interacts with our physical body. The sound interacts with our mind, lowering our brain waves and allowing us to enter a state of meditation, harmony, and peace. And on the other hand, it also touches our spirit, because we live within an auric field. When the vibration touches our auric field, it greatly changes our energy and even our sensitivity. So, in addition to being manufacturers, we also provide training in this area, and it's incredible that the Gong Universe, based in this small village, has already welcomed participants of many nationalities from many countries around the world. This proves that sound is a universal language. It has no color, no race, no belief, and anyone can play a gong. I often say that if we all had a gong at home, we would live in a much more harmonious and peaceful world, because a gong is essentially a message of peace. It's true for those who play it and for those who listen to it. The vibration of gongs helps everyone in all areas. If at the end of a yoga session the gongs are played, it is undoubtedly an added value. After physical exercise, listening to and feeling the vibration and sound of the gong. I have many students who are yoga teachers, and some even joke that ever since they brought the gong to their yoga classes, more people have been coming because everyone looks forward to the end of the class, as it's that pleasurable moment to enjoy the sound and relax. In 2014, if not earlier, Europe began to widely use something called Gong Puja. Gong Puja is a session that takes place over about 7 hours and 45 minutes. While people sleep, the participants sleep, preferably very comfortably. It's an incredible experience because it's a long period of listening to these harmonious sounds, with each gong producing a different sound. It's a journey I invite everyone to take, because during that period, even while sleeping, our whole body is stimulated. That's because the vibration, when it touches our body, our water, and since we are made up of more or less 100% water, the vibration spreads in a very harmonious way through our water, stimulating all our cells, muscles, tendons, and organs all at the same time. One of the characteristics that sound therapies have compared to others is that many focus only on the physical side, while others focus only on the mental side. In the case of sound therapies, you interact with the whole being all at once. That is, at the same time we are stimulating the physical body, we are calming and stimulating our mind, and as I mentioned earlier, also the spirit. In other words, whether it's a gong or a Tibetan bowl, after any kind of practice, it is always very beneficial, and it integrates well with other alternative therapies. Here it's important, when we talk about foot gongs, to emphasize that since they are all made from a nickel alloy, regardless of their size or tuning, the frequency of all of them is very low. The lower the frequency, the faster the listener or the tendency will be for the brain waves to slow down more quickly and enter a state of meditation and inner peace much faster. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the size of the gong or its tuning. All of them, their frequency is always very low. A major difference between gongs made from nickel alloys and those made from bronze has to do with stability. That is, the frequency of a bronze gong depends on the intensity of the strike. In the case of nickel, that's not the case. Once the gong is tuned to a frequency, as long as there is no physical damage to the piece, it will always maintain the frequency it was tuned to. And since it's a very low frequency, it has the benefits I've already mentioned. Additionally, the harmonic sounds that each gong produces are different, but all of them are within a great harmony. Now, what happens, or when comparing gongs of different sizes, is that it's true that the larger the piece, the more harmonic sound we have, the more vibration we get. That's true. It's easier to induce relaxation with a larger gong than with a smaller one. But as long as it is made from a nickel alloy, all of them have this benefit that I mentioned. What's interesting is that in recent months, we've been changing our creativity a lot, or rather we've been very blessed with new creativity. And what's interesting about this is that each gong can, or does, convey a different message. Not only does each gong convey a different message, but each person sees in a gong what they are meant to see. There are some gongs that, or rather the same gong, and I had an exhibition a few days ago where I heard constant comments about the gong the whole time. Someone said it looked like a sea bream, that it looked like a galaxy, like a planet. In other words, each person can see what they are meant to see, so to speak. The colors are created with fire. As far as I know, and I don't want to create any doubts here, but as far as I know, I am the only manufacturer in the world who makes gongs tuned to planets, using fire to create the colors. As far as I know, there are no planetary gongs with colors. As far as I know, maybe there is a manufacturer who has appeared and I am not aware of it. But in principle, what I am saying is true. The use of the gong can be done, and is even recommended. The more people present, the better, even babies. In fact, I have some students who started playing the gong while they were pregnant, and they said that every time they played the gong, they felt the baby move, and they felt that the baby was happy. Whether the baby was truly happy or not, I cannot definitively tell, but that is indeed what they often say. However, there are expectant mothers who are playing the gong, and it seems the babies genuinely enjoy it very much. In fact, neither to start nor to stop, and actually once you start playing the gong, it's hard to stop. Why is that? Because we realize that the gong is truly an asset to our well-being, both physically and emotionally. Very quickly, almost instantaneously, when we start playing the resonant gong, our entire mental state shifts quite rapidly from a state of considerable stress and tension to a state of deep, profound calm. And when we start to notice that there is a cause and effect from using the gong, it becomes a daily thing. The need to play I personally play every day, partly because I'm here at the factory, but everyone who owns gongs and whom I talk to feels it's a daily necessity. Not for the ritual, but for the benefit. It's that moment of decompression that the gong provides. I could spend hours and hours here talking about the benefits of the gong, but nothing compares to experiencing it for yourself. I invite everyone to try out what a gong is, to feel a gong, to experience its vibration, to hear its sound, and then in the end make your decision, see if it's really interesting or not. We're all different, and that's something we need to understand as well. Here, animals are very dependent on it. For example, in this case, dogs react better than cats. But generally, if cats are used to it from a young age, I also adjust the sound of the gong. If it's an adult cat, you might get a very good reaction or an adverse one. Regarding the issue of hearing, I'll use the example of a student who took a course with me, who has hearing problems and hears very, very poorly. And he knew, just by looking, he could tell whether the gong was vibrating or not. In other words, without hearing it, because it's heavy, because the buoy is a vibration, even without hearing the sound, he could feel the vibration and he knew whether the gong was vibrating or not. The first gong I made was an 85 centimeter gong, tuned to Chiron, and then the second was a 70 centimeter gong. At that time, these gongs still weren't completely round. They weren't square either, but they were more round than square. Actually, all these characteristics here are what make the gong have a certain tuning when it is built. Then we take measurements to see what frequency it has, so we know whether we need to raise or lower the frequency, and then we hammer the backside. There are specific points that make the frequency go up or make the frequency drop. What's interesting is that this isn't a linear rule. In other words, from gong to gong, the way you tune a gong is different. We have to have a certain sensitivity here to understand it. Before we start hammering or before we start tuning the gong, we need to really look at the gong to understand it, to see what the signs are. Because there are gongs that, for certain reasons, won't go above a certain frequency or won't go below a certain one. And there are saturation points that sometimes make it impossible to tune a gong to a certain frequency. There is a chart for planetary gongs. This is specifically for planetary gongs. We follow the chart created by Andes Kostel, who was a Swiss mathematician that discovered and calculated the frequency of each of the planets. And we follow that chart. What we do is, with the help of a computer, we are able to see what the frequency is. And then, from there, it's Martel's work, and then the attempt to tune it. And there are gongs that sometimes take 5 or 10 minutes to tune. There are gongs that take 3 hours to tune, and sometimes there are gongs where we have to wait a day or two before continuing, just to let it settle, and then continue the next day. But here, there isn't a set formula either, and sometimes it just takes as long as it takes to tune a gong. It's always a bit of a lottery. In these last 2.5 years since we moved to the studio at our center, which is where we hold our courses, we're also about to start offering one-day workshops in Vila Nova de Gaia soon, in a room with incredible acoustics, one of the best I've seen so far. We're preparing it for the workshops, and we've also done this in Poland. I invite you to visit our website at universegong.com, where you can not only see the gongs we have made, but also the dates of our workshops and where they will be held. Our main center is here in Entilhadela and soon also in Vila Nova de Gaia. It will be a pleasure to welcome you and witness your first touches on the gong, because usually people's expressions change, their reactions. It's something that stays in my memory. Every time someone comes here for the first time, sees these gongs and starts to play them, it's as if they're entering a different world, and I personally remember these moments for many months afterwards. So all of this is very meaningful to me as well.